Welcome to New Carrollton Station, the easternmost terminus station on the DC Metro's Orange Line. Bing bong, step back, doors closing. New Carrollton is the third train station to serve this area. In the 1870s, a small station served the community of Lanham, just north of the current station. The stop consisted of a small shelter and an asphalt platform that was served by a few Penn Central and later Conrail commuter trains between Baltimore and DC per day. In 1970, not far from Lanham Station, Capitol Beltway Station opened and made Lanham Station redundant, so it was closed in 1982. Running on completely new and separate tracks than the main line over there, the Metro Station opened for service in 1978, along with the Minnesota Avenue, Deanwood, Cheverty, and Landover stations. This completed the final section of the Metro's Orange Line east of the city. A few years after the Metro Station was completed, the main line train station at New Carrollton was completed in October of 1983. Capitol Beltway Station then became redundant and met the same fate as Lanham Station. Capitol Beltway Station only saw 13 years of service, closing on the same day that the mainline rail station at New Carrollton opened. So what do I mean by mainline rail? Well, New Carrollton Station is 2 and soon to be 3 different rail stations in one location. There's the Metro Station, there's the mainline rail station, which is served by Amtrak and MARC, and then in a few years, hopefully, the Purple Line station will open just north of that. Yes, 3 train stations in one place. It's a crazy area. The Metro part of the station is owned by WMATA, while the mainline part is owned by Amtrak. The station features a center platform like all terminus stations on the DC Metro, and it dawns the original 1970s brown and red vibe that still holds up to this day as long as it's maintained. While the mainline rail station is a bit more dark and utilitarian, but it's also currently in the process of being redone, so let's not judge it too harshly. Downstairs and through the tunnel that connects both stations, there's even a little waiting room that's run by Amtrak. It has restrooms, vending machines, ticket machines, and even a little staffed cafe. There's a decent amount of things around the station, which is rare for a lot of terminus stations on the Metro. Not far from the station, there's the IRS building, Maryland State Government offices, and WMATA's new Carrollton office, completed in 2023. The Metro office building, along with Kaiser Permanente, Mid-Atlantic headquarters, which is this building right behind me, wants to be a cornerstone for employers in this new urban center that they want to build in New Carrollton, complete with housing, which is right here, workplaces, and entertainment spaces. As you can see, some of these apartments are already up and others are still under construction. Most of the area around the station is low-density housing, offices, and warehouse-style developments found in a lot of suburbs. So it's going to take a lot for this to become a new urban center, similar to Silver Spring or Bethesda. So that train is going to the train yard, which is right over there past the station, and it's pretty normal for Metro to have train yards right near their terminus stations. All right, New Carrollton elevator review. It is pretty quick. It is very clean because these parking garages just opened, and smells fine. Smells metallic because it's all new. No bad smells. So this is the underground section connecting the 2 sides of the Metro station, and over here is Amtrak. Very creepy. If you have not already noticed, the area is a major transfer hub for transferring between different modes of transportation. Amtrak and MARC run on the main line. The Metro provides every 12-minute service to DC most of the day, with local buses connecting the surrounding area to this hub. Metrobus runs 8 routes, and Prince George's County The Bus runs 7 routes. You may have noticed a lot of construction in this video. A major part of that construction is Maryland's new Purple Line. In a few years, the Purple Line will connect the busiest parts of Montgomery and Prince George's County together with local suburban light rail service. New Carrollton Station will be the eastern terminus of this new line, but for now, you have to deal with construction and the relocation of the North Side bus bay. Metro's Orange Line runs the most frequent service around here, running every 10 to 15 minutes. The Orange Line runs to downtown Washington, D.C., Arlington, Virginia, and then further out into Fairfax County, ultimately terminating in Vienna. The mainline train station serves 4 different train services. MARC's Penn Line to Baltimore, along with Amtrak's Northeast Regional, with connections as far as Boston, Roanoke, and Virginia Beach. Amtrak's Palmetto and Vermonter to Savannah and St. Albans, respectively, also stop here. The Acela, Amtrak's premium service between DC and Boston, served New Carrollton Station until 2003. The trains now pass by at around 100 miles per hour. Now that's a fun fact. Walking from the Capitol building at 5 p.m. on a weekday, it would take around 30 minutes, whether you get on the metro and take that to New Carrollton, or you walk up to Union Station and take a MARC train. I would say most people would opt for the metro because the walk is a lot shorter and it takes basically the same amount of time. If you try to drive at the same time, it will take about 40 minutes, so taking the train seems like a better option. New Carrollton sees metro trains every 10 minutes during rush hour, every 12 minutes off-peak, and every 15 minutes during late nights. The first and last trains from New Carrollton each day are on screen right now. A one-way trip to downtown DC will cost $5.50, and a monthly pass from New Carrollton to Metro Center, plus unlimited equivalent or shorter trips, will cost $176. In the first full year of operation, the station got around 5,700 entries per weekday. 2008 was the busiest year for this station at 10,600 entries per weekday. Between 2012 and 19, the station saw 7,400 entries per weekday, and in 2025 there are about 37 entries on weekdays, 2,200 on Saturdays, and 1,300 on Sundays. But on busier return to office days in April, the stations got as high as 4,500 entries per weekday. The station has 2,613 parking spots, and in April of 2025, 80% of those were used on an average weekday. So that was the Metro Station ridership. Let's talk about Mainline. The Mainline station received 664 Amtrak passengers passing through the station per day in fiscal year 2024. On the other hand, MARC trains saw about 1,200 entries per weekday in November 2018, the last time that data was collected. This is a very nice bus departure board, and it looks like the south side buses have been rerouted over here. There's the entrance, pretty close. New Carrollton is currently struggling to become a downtown, but the whole process is still a work in progress. Prince George's County has identified the following as barriers to New Carrollton thriving as a walkable, mixed-use neighborhood: disconnected streets, the absence of bicycle facilities, inhospitable pedestrian environments, and wide auto-oriented roadways. I noticed some of these issues when I was there. The sun was shining really hard, and there was little shade, so the reflection from the very lightly colored surfaces made the ground very bright and hard to see. Another issue that may be rectified as more housing gets constructed is that I saw one place for leisure in the entire area. It was this bar on the ground floor of the Stella Apartments. The 2024 New Carrollton Downtown Access and Connectivity Strategy document outlines ways to improve the area for pedestrians and cyclists by recommending existing and new ideas for pedestrian and bicycle connections. This includes crosswalk enhancements, placemaking interventions, potential redevelopment, and street connections. These additions would really improve the area for pedestrians and people on bikes, as it's not the best environment for them right now. Hopefully these recommendations can be implemented, because without them, the area will continue to be just a bunch of modern apartments next to a metro and mainline rail station. Depending on how things go, New Carrollton could be the next area to get more walkable, with a dense town center connecting lots of housing and amenities to transit. But it would not surprise me if it gets halfway done and the economy goes bad, or some other factor keeps it in limbo, as it gets kinda dense but still pretty car dependent for like 90% of people. The apartments going up are not cheap either. With a one-bedroom costing over $1,500, requiring a salary of over $60,000, let's hope that more housing slowly reduces the general cost, because it's crazy. What I'm trying to say is that right now there's a lot of transit and a lot of housing around here, but not much else. Prince George's County wants New Carrollton to become a more walkable environment with housing, commercial, and lots of employment opportunities. But factors such as development regulations and costs, an uncertain local and national economy, and most Americans being unfamiliar with the pros of urban living leaves New Carrollton in a sort of urban-suburban limbo, at least for now. But I hope to make an update video to this in 5 to 10 years highlighting the massive changes that will maybe happen. Only time will tell. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm trying to incorporate more interesting things, more planning into my Focus Terminus videos, which are kind of almost done now, at least for the DC Metro. But I hope you liked it. Have a great day. See you in the next one. Adios.